Today I'm doing the Beauty and the Beast tarot, or the fairy tale tarot tag, VR to Aries witchcraft. I also saw this on Amethyst Ascension. I apologize if the wind is loud, but it's going to be windy all week, so I'm just going to have to roll with it. I'll put the prompts down below so you can read them for yourself. And the first one is your Belle deck. So this one is a Beauty and the Beast themed tag. So the first one is, which deck is your Belle deck, which means that it's beautiful on the outside as well as the inside. So I'm doing both tarot and oracles for this because I don't have many tarot. So for my Belle deck, I have chosen the ethereal, oops, that's not supposed to be in there, the Ethereal Alchemist's Tarot, because the aesthetic is very pretty. It's a beautiful deck, but the guidebook is also amazing. So I'll just show you the guidebook for a second. How gorgeous is that? How pretty. It's full color and it is so well written, and it's just got this really loving, light filled descriptions. So it is comforting to read. Belle is my favorite Disney princess. She was someone I admired from a young age, not because she was pretty or that she loved reading books, that she was humble. It was because of her kindness. She was not quick to judge others. She also valued the heart of people, not just their wealth or their looks. And she was one of the only Disney princesses who was not born into royalty. She came from humble beginnings. She cared for her family, and her heart was just so big and so loving. So yeah, this deck has that real, it's got that quiet but strong feminine energy. And I feel like that really resonates with Belle's energy. So that's why I have chosen it for my Belle deck. Next up is show us your tarot library, so where you keep all your decks. So I'll insert the video here. So this is where I keep my colorful oracle decks. This is where I keep my tarot decks. This is where I keep my darker oracle decks. Up here are some decks that I'm still waiting to go through in depth to determine whether or not I'm going to purge them. Because as I mentioned, I'm going through my whole collection and doing a bit of a cull, so I still haven't gone through these. Up here, we've got my new decks. So this is where I pop all my new decks to try them out. In here is where I keep the decks that I'm currently using this week, so in that little caddy. And then down here, the bottom, is where I keep the decks that I haven't made bags for yet. So that is basically my little tarot area. So besides the main area, I also have my little bedside decks, and I keep them in this drawer. So these are the decks I use every day, my daily decks, and I have my journals in there and my tarot journal. So that is my entire collection of decks. The next prompt is more than a provincial life. What is your dream life deck? Thanks, Willow. And for me, that's the Nest of Light Oracle. So I had to think, what is my dream life? So my dream life is a simple one. It is definitely one set in earth, in the pleasures of the mundane and the contemporary life. Come on, baby. Keep going, keep going. Jump. Oh my God. Thanks. I needed to rearrange my desk. But it's also one that has a little bit of magic in it. And so this deck for me has this everyday life, but also with a magical element. And that is definitely something that would be my dream life. So living here as I am now, but we have elves. But, you know, we have energies that we can connect to in a more visceral way. This has, you know, vibrations, but it also has the golden flames and the pointed hexagonal prism. It's got sort of supernatural, metaphysical elements to it. It has magic, dragons, like dragons, bruh. So I would love, yeah, this world, but just a little bit more, with just a little more twinkle, you know, a little more pixie dust, a little more sparkle. And yeah, I'll just find the card, one of my favorite cards if I can, because it's the one that just epitomizes the life that I would love to live. Just like the sun on your face. Here it is, Sacred Herbs. Sun on your face and the scent of lavender in the air, and just this feeling of contentment and peace and acceptance of what is, and just reveling in your life. Next we have your Gaston deck, which is a deck everyone wanted, but you did not. And that for me is the Wild Unknown Tarot. I just had zero desire for this, and this went massive when it came out. I remember everybody and their dog had it. But I just, no matter how many videos I watched, no how many raves, I just did not want to get it. I didn't see the appeal. It didn't ring my bell. So that was my Gaston deck. Then we have your Beast deck, a deck you didn't like at first, but now you love. So this was a little hard because normally I don't buy decks I don't like, but I did in this case. And this is the Lantern deck, the Lantern Oracle. When this first came out, I had no desire for it. I thought, no, I don't need a deck like that. At the time, I didn't vibe with the art. I don't know why. I do now. But at the time, I was like, the art doesn't do anything for me. The theme is like a little dark, and I don't really feel the need for a more shadowy deck, so to speak. But then I saw a lot of people rave about it, and I thought, oh, I'll give it a go. It's a mass market deck. It's not like a huge investment. I'll try it out. And man, it really did blow me away. So the guidebook is just phenomenal. The keywords and the sentences and the themes in this deck are magnificent. It just speaks so deeply to me, and it is transformative. And I absolutely adore it now. I can't believe I wasn't drawn to it. Do you know what I mean? Like looking back, it's like, what? How? This is amazing. I love the pictures in this, and the artistry and everything about it. The quality, it's all fantastic. So this is a stellar deck, and I am shocked at past Chanel for taking so long to get on board the Lantern Oracle train, but I am now fully on board. The next deck is your Castle deck. So what deck took you a while to connect to, but now feels like home? So this was a bit of a tough prompt to me, because normally for me it's instant connection or not. It's very rare that I don't connect and then after a long time I do. I'm so sorry. Willow's just left all her little DNA samples all over my table. And this is the Sparkly Lenormand deck. And the reason why it took me a while to connect to was because I had absolutely no experience with Lenormand. And I think whenever you do have to learn a new system, there is sort of that first period where it's tough and it's hard and you don't quite understand it and you don't quite get it. But then over a long time use, I use this daily. This is my sort of like, just tell me about my day-to-day deck. And it's so freaking accurate. And it just does stuff that tarot cannot for me. So it is irreplaceable in that aspect. But otherwise, yeah, I freaking love the way this deck looks. It is so adorable and cute and cheerful. And even like the tough cards like Scythe or Debt or Coffin or whatever, I'm not even fazed, because it's just like, how can I get mad at that? You know what I mean? Like the picture is so cute. I'm like, it's fine. It's not so doom and gloom. So yeah, this deck feels like home for me. It's a daily deck now, and I'm very familiar with it. The next prompt is your Chip deck. So one that is childish but wise. And for me, that is the Whispers of the Soul Oracle. As you can see, it has a very childlike, youthful art. Like this is an inner child deck for me. So the artwork is the main reason why I would consider it a child deck. It's got this youthful innocence to it, this childlike nature, that sort of magic of wonder that you have when you're a child. And I'll just read to you from the guidebook so you can see that it's still wise. So I'll read, I am an ever-growing garden. We are an ever-growing garden, always moving our energy for further expansion. Like the universe, you are in constant interaction with energies that cause you to contract and expand. This is the pulse of life. Finding serenity in the midst of chaos is possible, and this is your job, to allow the healing, the contractions to occur so your garden can grow as it is meant to grow. Patience is needed for these times of growth. Whatever your challenge, hold this card and breathe serenity into your being and allow the necessary growth to take place. May I invite serenity to release the cords that hold me back. May I invite serenity as I embody more power. May I invite serenity to set the boundaries needed. Even though all these energetic movements can be painful, from my I am presence, I bless my body, mind, and energy field with the serenity and peace they need. And so it is. Expansion, growth, feeling discomfort. Breathe serenity and peace. Allow healing and growth. You are constantly expanding. Find serenity in the midst of chaos. So like I said, it has a childlike quality, but there is wisdom to be found within it. Next up is a fatherly deck. So a deck that helps reinvent thoughts or perspectives. And for me, it's the Alchemist's Garden. So this definitely has a sort of more masculine energy to me, that paternal feel, that, you know, old wise man sort of vibe. I'm going to read from the guidebook so you can sort of see how it has a different viewpoint and the energy of the words that are spoken. I'm just going to read one of my favorites, which is sort of a significator card for me, and that's the Queen of Pentacles. So this one has, you know, motherhood, nature, and procreation as the key words. But one who keeps their profile low and their independence high will not submit to anyone who comes in and out of the spectrum. Your organic architecture seeks something refined, the simplicity of sincerity. Leathered and aged feet can carry you across the uncharted lands safely. It is the wise feet of the Mother Queen who knows the earth's terrain. Her tender maternal instinct holds mature advice about which path leads away from the hollow decaying branch of ego. You are a peaceful power, rich in an abundance that comes from knowing everything is aligned. When you emanate your bountiful energy without attachment, you attract what you need. Whenever a lack of self-awareness begins to blot the sky, remind yourself that the more a tree pushes up towards those clouds, the deeper the roots move into the ground. You might be called to encourage others, even when they are not able to ask for your support. A heartbeat that matches the beat of nature can conceive something much rarer than impressive skills. It is the ability to recognize the greatness in others. Seeing a light shine through the misty valleys of somebody's inner landscape will bring into view the manifestation of that person's most honest worth. So, like I said, this guidebook is outstanding. It is sort of outside the box. It is quite different. It's very story-like, narrative. It's not so much like just a divinatory thing. It's very evocative and atmospheric, and that's why I've chosen. And it's the deck that I'd go to for, you know, that fatherly advice, and that's why I've chosen it for this prompt. And then we've got your happily ever after. So this is either a love and romance themed deck and also your favorite lovers card. So I'll start with my romance or love themed deck, and I actually don't have many of those that I would consider fall into that category, except for this one. So this is the Essential Seed Oracle, and I think this is it's not so much, it's romance with yourself. This is a self-love deck. Fall in love with yourself, romance yourself, date yourself, be obsessed with all of your flaws and strengths. This is just all about love. Love. How fortuitous that aligned. So yeah, this would probably be the deck that I would choose for the romance and love themed deck. And then my favorite lovers card, let me just find where I have placed it now. Hello, oh there you are. So this one I have chosen from the True Black Tarot. It is my absolute favorite. I love the True Black Tarot. I am obsessed with it. Just the quality, the beautiful rose petal finish, the embossing, the imagery is stunning. It's unlike anything else I have. It just makes me sigh with appreciation every time I gaze upon its gloriousness. And I'll read to you now the lovers. In this card depicted is the red string of fate that ties two souls across any amount of time or space. And while it can be knotted or stretched endlessly, it can never be broken. So there's a whole story about these two. I'm not going to read that, but I'm just going to read about the artwork. So it said, above the lovers hangs the three heavenly bodies, the sun, the moon, and the earth. Plato writes on the origins of love in his novella Symposium. In it, he describes humans as having originally been two-headed, four-armed, four-legged beings, powerful enough to threaten the gods. The gods, fearing them, split each human in half, dooming them to forever search for their other half. What consisted of a person's other half depended on what heavenly body they descended from. Men and men, pairings were from the sun, women and women from the earth, and man and woman from the moon. So yeah, that's why I've chosen that one. That's everything for this VR. I hope that you're having a magical morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are. And as always, stay wild, star child.